Welcome. My name is Dwayne Vaught. I am the Grand Master of the Grand Encampment of Knights Templar and President of the Knights Templar Eye Foundation, Incorporated. With me today is Dr. John Penn, Snyder Professor and Vice Chair of the Department of Ophthalmology at Vanderbilt University School of Medicine in Nashville, Tennessee. Dr. Penn is also the Chairman of our Scientific Advisory Committee with the Knights Templar Eye Foundation. He's going to say a few words about the importance of funding by the Knights Templar Eye Foundation to ophthalmic research.
Back in 1986, almost 30 years ago now, I was an assistant professor of ophthalmology at the Cullen Eye Institute of Baylor College of Medicine, and I was just embarking on my research career. I was interested in a particularly tragic form of blindness known as retinopathy of prematurity, or ROP. This condition is tragic because it blinds premature infants at the very onset of life, before they have an opportunity to appreciate the wonder of their visual surroundings. At the time, we didn't know much about how ROP developed in infants or how it progressed to its blinding stages. I applied to the Knights Templar Eye Foundation for 2 years of financial support, and I used that support to develop an animal model of the ROP condition so its pathogenesis could be investigated. 2 years later, when my Knights Templar funding ended, I submitted an application to the National Eye Institute of NIH, relying on the model I developed with Knights Templar support. In my National Eye Institute application, I proposed experiments to better understand the onset and progression of the ROP condition. I was fortunate enough to receive National Eye Institute funding for that project, and I'm proud to say that that grant has been renewed multiple times and is now in its 28th year of consecutive funding. That simply would not have happened if not for the Knights Templar Eye Foundation grant. Our findings, first in Houston at Baylor College of Medicine, then in Little Rock at the University of Arkansas for Medical Sciences, and finally in Nashville at Vanderbilt University, where I've been for the last 15 years, and those of other labs during this nearly 3-decade period, have altered the way in which premature infants are cared for and the way in which ROP is treated. And I'm proud of that legacy and appreciative of the pivotal role that the Knights Templar Eye Foundation played in it. Thus, Knights Templar Eye Foundation funding had a clear and direct impact on my early professional development and on the success of my research program. Also, it led to findings that had a significant impact on patient care in a particularly vulnerable population, tiny premature infants. I believe that my experience can serve as an example of what the Knights Templar Eye Foundation can do for young vision scientists throughout the country. I know that's the case because Knights Templar Eye Foundation funding has catapulted the career of 4 of my trainees, each of whom have gone on to make their own mark in vision science. In my career as a biomedical scientist, the competition for federal funding has never been more intense. Only 10 to 15% of the proposals sent to the National Institutes of Health are viewed favorably. The challenge is difficult enough for veterans of the system who understand how to write government grants, how to present their preliminary findings in the best light, and how to design and propose experiments that will impact the field. Imagine how difficult it is for a young scientist just starting out in today's research environment to compete for this research support. The hard truth is that while these young scientists develop their independence, develop their skill sets and the infrastructure in their labs, they are at risk of being left out. And if they're left out, where will the next generation of biomedical scientists come from? This is where foundations like the Knights Templar Eye Foundation are so critically important. The Knights Templar Eye Foundation specifically and purposefully targets young investigators seeking to develop independence and develop their own labs and research programs. The Scientific Advisory Committee of the Knights Templar Eye Foundation receives and reviews research proposals from young investigators at the onset of their careers, and we determine which young scientists are proposing the best approaches to address childhood vision problems. The Knights Templar Eye Foundation Advisory Committee takes that responsibility very seriously. In a typical year, the foundation funds between 15 and 20 of these young scientists who are dedicated to understanding, treating, and curing eye problems in the pediatric population. One glance at the list of scientists who have received Knights Templar Eye Foundation grants over the years will tell you how successful this approach has been, because, present company excluded, they are the best and brightest scientists in the field today, a virtual who's who of pediatric vision investigators. Knights Templar Eye Foundation serves as a crucial catalyst for the careers of these young investigators and for the overall ophthalmology and vision science research community. For these and other reasons, I'm proud to represent the organization as the chairman of its Scientific Advisory Committee.